Welcome to Just Cook It Radio, hosted by Chef Mario Pareca and Bill Alexander. Just Cook It Radio is about food, life, and everything in between. And now, your hosts of Just Cook It Radio, Mario and Bill.
It's finally here.
It is, and we are live at the Greensboro Farmers Market.
No, not that. It's Just Cook It Radio. We've been billboarding this thing for like ever.
Yeah, and we've been billboarding being live here to debut it. So it's great to be here finally, and I want to tell everyone you are listening to Just Cook It Radio right here on your local station, 590 Radio WMBS. I am Mario Pareca. Alongside me, Bill Alexander. And Bill, it's nice to broadcast in the fresh air.
Yes, it's nice to be outside. The Monongahela River right behind us, and we're just sitting here at the gazebo in Greensboro.
I like the word gazebo. It's such a refreshing, calming, cooling word. But I want to remind people you can call us. The number's 855-590-0590, or locally in the listening area if you're listening to us on WMBS, which I hope you are, because that's the only place we are right now. 724-812-0590 is the local number, and you can also text the word Cook It, COOKIT, all one word, to the number 411-247. And if you want to send us a message, you can just put a space after the word Cook It, type whatever you want, and then we can chat back and forth that way.
Now, you got to explain to them, if they call the number, they're not going to reach us right here. It's going to go to our voicemail system, right?
And then you can record your message, and we can either play that message back over the air, or we can just simply send you an email if you leave us your email address or whatnot that way. So that's how you get a hold of us, and our website is justcookitradio.com. We also have apps for all your phones, your iPhone, your Android, so you can get on there and download those.
I feel so official.
It is. It's very official. This is the big time.
Hey, I got to thank. There's been a lot of people helping us get the name change done and everything, and I got to thank a friend of mine that works. You don't do this in radio, but I'm doing it right now anyhow. I want to thank a friend of mine, Margie Constantine, from WJPA Radio. She's the lovely voice you hear in the beginning, and then the music that you're hearing is from a group that I misspoke about 5 months ago from New Jersey, Marble Tea. They're doing our new theme music and everything.
And notice how even the band that does our music is food-related in some way.
I didn't think of that.
Yes,
but,
Marble Tea.
But we have to thank them for doing all that, and we're having just a good old time. And, hey, look at all the stuff we have now. I mean, boy, did we brand this right.
I know. We've come a long way. And we're 6 months. In 6 months on WMBS, but we started a podcast even before that, so we're coming up close to our one-year anniversary here with the whole program.
And the other thing you have to mention, too, is we're on TV now, following the Herald Standard Home Show.
Yes.
And we are broadcasting on Fayette TV, Channel 77. The program that we're doing right now, you'll be able to see on Tuesday night. And I got to thank somebody for giving us the airtime over at Fayette TV, and that's my buddy over at Phil Gianetti Motors. Chip Gianetti, got to thank him very much for helping us out on the TV side, so I wanted to get that out there.
Absolutely. Just one of our many great sponsors. And so, Bill, without further ado, let's dive into our first episode, shall we?
Let's do it.
So the first thing I wanted to bring up is this, and we're going to get to food holidays later in the show, but I was doing my research throughout the week, and I read a ton of magazines, newspapers, online content, all about food just to see. And I was actually reading Bon Appetit magazine. Okay. I don't know if you've heard of them. And something caught my eye. Now, I know we've talked about in the past, one of my favorite foods is the old trusty peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Right? So I'm reading this article, and I have it right here pulled up in front of me. I'm just going to read an excerpt from it, and I just want to get your thoughts about it. And I would invite I would invite you listening to please send your thoughts in as well if you call us, and just let us know how you feel about this. So apparently, this column in the magazine is called the 119-word rant. Okay, it's 119 words ranting about something. And so peanut butter and jelly. So the gentleman who wrote this made his son a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and packed it in his lunch to take to school, right?
Good.
So he takes it to school. He gets home, and he opens up his lunchbox after his son gets home. The sandwich was uneaten, along with a note from the teacher explaining the school's no-nut policy. He says, I know food allergies are serious, but it's sad to think the future generations won't have the pleasure of sharing or trading, because that's what a lot of people did, this sandwich with their classmates. So what this family has done, he goes on to explain, is they have a peanut butter and jelly night at their house where they make peanut butter and jelly for dinner.
Okay.
Now, my question to you is, do you feel that's responsible on the school's part? Do you think schools should outlaw peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Because when I went to school, that was always, when you ordered from the cafeteria, you had your two choices that you could order, but you could always get peanut butter and jelly if you didn't want that. So they served
That's
it
exactly
there.
right.
So I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I mean, I can understand the whole idea of the peanut issues and everything else. In my household, peanut butter is a staple. Literally, it's there. There is a jar sitting on my counter, and it's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it's a big jar because that's one of those things, especially me. If it's at night or something and I just need a little bit of something, I dip the spoon in it, take it, throw the spoon in the sink, I'm off to bed. That's something we live with. My one son, for a long time, that's all he ate was peanut butter because of that, but he has no nut allergies. Same thing with my daughter. So, again, I can understand with other kids, you may not know, they may get it, and the whole idea of going into that anaphylactic shock when you eat it, I get where the school's coming from. On a personal note, I think it's maybe going to a little extreme, but I understand where the school's coming from.
That was my point. I agree. I think it's a little extreme. I can understand it because it is, like you said, a danger for children who are allergic because peanuts are one of those things that children especially, tend to be very allergic to.
Right.
But peanut butter and jelly is so classic.
Oh, and it is.
Timeless. And I want to talk more about peanut butter and jelly because, like I've said, it's one of my favorite foods. It's the trusty
favorite food. It was the beginning of your newspaper article yesterday in the Herald Standard.
It's one of my favorite foods, and that wasn't peanut butter and jelly. That was Nutella and fluff.
But still, it's the same idea. It's on white bread, which I like the tribute to Hostess yesterday.
The Wonder Bread.
The Wonder Bread comment.
But so let's talk a little bit about peanut butter and jelly here. It's a cooking show. We're talking about peanut butter and jelly. I love it. So here's a couple tips to make peanut butter and jelly, and this, again, is from Bon Appetit. This was another article, not even on the same day. I just happened to find it as I was going through. I do go through a lot of articles. But so some of these I agree with, some of them I don't. So let's read through a couple of them, and you can put your 2 cents in whether you agree or not. So the first, I guess, thing that they're saying that it isn't true is people tend to want to use the best rustic bread you can find, which they say is wrong because...
What do you mean by rustic bread?
Like those breads when you go to the store and there's loaf breads that are real crusty, like a sourdough or a 9-grain whole wheat, you know, the artisanal breads.
Okay.
But they say not to do that. I agree. I think peanut butter and jelly should be on real soft, fluffy white bread.
Okay.
That's my opinion. Almost the Wonder Bread. You know, it just
the
goes
classic
together.
Wonder Bread.
Classic. So that's one thing
Wonder
they say
Bread,
not to do.
Town Talk. What's the other one that just came in? Bimbo.
It's actually Bimbo.
Bimbo. I like calling it Bimbo.
Well,
I am
that way.
Bimbo.
Anyway, so the second thing is never take peanut butter advice from your friends, which I agree. Are you a crunchy or a creamy guy?
Well, I was a crunchy growing up until I got married. There's only one kind of peanut butter that comes into my house, and that is creamy, and it's Jif. That's it. No other. I mean, that's one thing I gave in on when I got married 16 years ago, almost 17 years ago.
You got to compromise a bit. So peanut butter's not that big of a deal, unless for some people it may be. But I'm a creamy guy myself, so I am a creamy guy. Anyway, so now this one I'm a little confused about. Okay, because I've made a number of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in my life. I don't know what the number is. It's a high one.
I'm sure.
But it says here that when you're making the sandwich, I always put peanut butter on one side, jelly on the other. Of bread,
I can see
and put
that.
the bread together.
Yeah.
Reason being, I've tried putting when I was younger, putting peanut butter on jelly right on top, and it slides right out.
Yeah.
Now, what this is saying is to take your peanut butter, spread peanut butter on both slices of bread, and then the jelly in between the peanut butter.
I think because their own.
Well, what it says is if you put the jelly on one side of the bread, it leaks through the bread.
Oh, I get that. That makes sense. Yeah.
I could see that if you're taking it to school or taking it for lunch, but for me, my sandwiches don't sit around that long.
Well, that's true. I can see that.
So I'd like to hear what you think about that as the listener, how you make your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, because that's kind of the key to the whole sandwich.
Right.
Okay, and then it also says not to pack in the filling because it'll become a sloppy mess. A lot of people think more is better, not necessarily peanut butter and jelly. And then it says use any jelly you want is wrong. They say don't use raspberry, strawberry, standard grape, and I agree. I'm a grape jelly fan.
So
that's personal preference as well, just like the peanut butter.
Don't come to my house. It's strawberry, and that's it. Now, the one thing you didn't mention on that is that my peanut butter sandwich, and I think it's because I do wait a little bit before I eat it. I like mine toasted, and then do it that way. And I because it gives the bread more rigidity when you eat it. That's just the whole thing.
That's a fun word, rigidity.
Rigidity.
Well, here's another thing you can try too. That's actually pretty good. Now, this is a little twist on peanut butter and jelly that I've tried. You know how you make a grilled cheese sandwich?
Yeah.
You butter the bread. Make your peanut butter and jelly that way. griddle it like a grilled cheese sandwich.
Isn't that the way Elvis ate them?
Well, Elvis' sandwich was peanut butter, banana, and honey.
Okay. Oh, I like
and
that.
He grilled
That's actually a good idea,
too.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you look at remember when I did the Emerald?
Yeah.
I made the Elvis. That was one of the sandwiches, so you can check that out.
Well, guess what?
Break time.
We got to step away for our first break right now.
We're going to step away. When we come back, we're going to dive into food holidays, as we do here every week on Just Cook It Radio. And Just Cook It Radio is being served up to you today by the Big Barn Country Store and Deli, by Pareca Chiropractic Center, Inc., by 4th Street Barbecue, and by the Herald Standard.
And thank you very much for watching us on Fayette TV, Channel 77, and streaming online at FayetteTV.org, and also here on your local station, 590 Radio WMBS.
Phil Giannetti Motors at 656 National Pike East in Brownsville is a proud sponsor of programming on FCTV. Phil Giannetti Motors providing quality vehicles for 45 years. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, give Phil Giannetti's a call at 724-785-6800 or stop by their website, philgiannettymotors.com.
Hey, we're here at the Greensboro Farmers Market. Yours truly, Bill Alexander, along with Mario Pareca with Just Cook It Radio here on a Saturday morning, June 1st, 2013. And is it summer? Is that the idea?
It feels like summer. It's beautiful out. And what I want to tell people is I really hope that they tune in on Channel 77 because as we come back from break, they can see us both dancing to our music.
I forgot about that.
As it comes back. It's like Big Brother. You don't know they're watching.
That's right.
So, yeah, so you can see it.
We're not used to this TV thing yet.
We're getting there, though. I mean, it's a work in progress. Anyway.
Hey, I got comments about last week's show when the banner fell down behind us.
Hey, you can't control everything on live TV. It's fun.
Well, live
radio.
Recorded live on TV, you can't control. There you go.
So, the next thing, Bill, we want to talk about food holidays, but before we do so, we did the peanut butter. We talked about peanut butter and jelly right before the break, and we did the 119-word rant. Well, I have my own rant really quickly.
Go for it.
And then we'll get into the food holidays, and this is perfect because it's a perfect segue into today's food holiday.
Okay.
I posted a blog post to justcookitradio.com at the beginning of last week.
Okay.
And it was about this new phenomenon in New York. It's a new breakfast treat, so to speak, and it's called the cronut.
Okay.
And what the cronut is a cross between a croissant and a donut. So a pastry chef took a croissant dough, made a donut, and then he glazed it, and it looks absolutely awesome. And he fills it with vanilla pastry cream.
Okay.
So you can see all the layers just like a croissant on the inside, and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
So I post this on probably Monday or Tuesday, as soon as I saw the story break. And lo and behold, as fate would have it with our trends, it seems, within the last few days, oh my goodness, has it just exploded through the interweb.
Oh, really?
Everyone's talking about cronuts, all the big chefs. And I just want to tell people I found it first. Not necessarily that I found it first, but our post has been up longer
than theirs has, yeah.
So that's my rant.
Gotcha.
I want people to recognize that we do our homework.
That's right. We do it first.
So that's the cronut. So make sure that you take a look at it. You can only get it in New York, and they sell out of these cronuts.
I'm sure they do.
You can only buy 6. There's a 6 cronut limit, and they sell out within a half an hour. There's lines out the door of this bakery.
The thing is, when I think of the cronut, it reminds me more of what I guess the ladyfinger idea or the large things that you can buy in the supermarket that have the cream filling with the pastry like thing around it, or is these just a little bit more dense? Or are they round, or
they look like a donut?
Oh, okay.
They look like a donut,
and they have fill a donut with a hole in it.
No. You take the donut and you fry it. So imagine a donut. Then they put a pastry tip inside one side of the donut and pipe it.
Okay.
And the cream goes in between all because croissants are very flaky.
I got you.
So because the way the dough's made, there's all those layers with the butter in between them that cause them to steam and puff up.
I got you.
So and they showed them making them, and they actually fry them in a pot on the stove.
Right.
And they don't use those big commercial style deep fryers. So they really take their time, and they put candied rose petals on top of them as garnish. They look awesome. I would love to try one. If they're listening, please send us some.
If anybody's hearing a rumbling in the background, it's the Norfolk Southern running behind us along the river.
I thought that was your stomach after hearing about cronuts.
No, I had my brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart along with my iced coffee on the way down. But no, there's a train running behind us right now. We had barges earlier, trains. This is just a big mode of transportation behind
Planes,
it.
trains, and automobiles. But, Bill, after speaking of the cronut, it's perfect because today, Happy National Donut Day.
Hey, I like that one.
Yes, not Cronut Day, but Donut Day, and a cronut is a form of donut.
A donut.
So enjoy your favorite donut today.
A cronut would work.
Celebrate that cronut would work. It's part donut.
So when it's National Croissant Day, you can still have a cronut.
Absolutely.
Sounds
it's
good.
very versatile. And it's also National Hazelnut Cake Day.
Okay.
So I see hazelnut cake. It's almost like a bundt cake.
I got you.
hazelnuts in it, and normally it's either white chocolate or chocolate in it. That way, it's kind of the if you've had Nutella, and I know you have
yes,
because
I have.
we've had it. We
have
a
video proof of it.
right on YouTube, and you can go to justcookit.tv for that. And it's the chocolate and the hazelnut spread. So chocolate hazelnut cakes are fairly common. I mean, they're not super popular, but that's today. Tomorrow is National Rocky Road Ice Cream Day.
I like Rocky Road.
I love Rocky Road, and Rocky Road, it's traditionally chocolate ice cream, but it's got nuts and marshmallows. It actually started with walnuts, and over time it changed into having toasted almonds in it. And it got its name after the Wall Street crash of 1929. They gave it its flavor to give folks something to smile about in the midst of the Great Depression.
That's a good idea. That
so
is.
You're giving some Rocky Road.
I gotcha. Hey, before you go on, just to remind the listeners, you're listening to 590 Radio WMBS in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. We can go now.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, the following day is National Egg Day. So we're going to talk a little bit about eggs. I got some fun facts about eggs, and Bill, I got this big list of us. There's about 3 or 4 pages about egg facts. So what I'm going to do is we'll take turns, and we'll each pick out a fact and read an egg fact. Okay, we'll do 2 each.
Okay.
So go through the list, find an egg fact.
I just got to explain to the listening audience that I just opened a Sterno can. Some lady just walked over to me in front of the camera and said, "Here, open this." I said, "Okay." I wasn't going to argue.
Well, she thought you looked buff. So but if you ask her, she'll probably say she loosened it for you, so that's okay. And I saw her do that, by the way.
Yeah. Well, we do egg production. Okay.
So we're talking about eggs. So we're going to have a fact about eggs. So pick out a fact.
For those of you that are watching at home, you notice I have papers in front of me. This is the first time I got to work a breakdown of today's show. Usually I wing it.
We're turning a new page, figuratively and literally, on Just Cook It Radio, and we are very prepared, professional. And so, Bill, the first thing about eggs that I want to bring up is this is something in egg history.
Okay.
So, now, we talked about this. The
age history?
Everything has history.
Yes,
you have to look back. The age-old question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Okay. Now, scientifically speaking, the chicken had to come first,
right?
Because what the shell is made of only comes from a chicken.
Right. You and I had this discussion months ago.
Right.
I don't know. Did we have it on the air or off the air?
We had it on the air.
Did we? Okay.
But so the egg had to come first. Now, the way this describes it, it says, according to the Bible, the chicken came first. And it
makes sense.
Yeah, God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl, which is a chicken, that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." So the chicken came first.
Right.
End of story.
No problem with that.
Okay. So go ahead and pick out a fact. Just go down the list, pick one out that interests you, and share it with us.
Let's see. Chickens came to the New World with Columbus on his second trip in 1493.
Yes, they did, and that's interesting. And you know what else is more interesting about that? I should have written down on a card like Houdini what your first fact was going to be, because that would have been it, and that would have looked really smart.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting. For some reason, I thought they were native to the United States.
No.
But the turkey is. Well,
that's why there was talk of making the turkey the national bird.
That was Ben Franklin. He was drinking that night.
When wasn't he?
Yeah, well,
anyway, he was a genius, so I'm not going to go
against
argue
with
Dr. Franklin. No, and I believe I quoted Dr. Franklin in one of my Herald Standard columns, the wine one, believe it or not. So here's another egg fact for you. If you want to know egg freshness, a fresh egg will sink in water while an older egg will stand up. As the egg gets older, the airspace in the egg increases and causes it to float.
Makes sense. Hey, question for you about using eggs.
Yes.
And I've heard different things. That sometimes when you bake or you cook, an egg is quote unquote too fresh. Is that true, or is that just one of those things that people want to use old eggs? I don't know.
It can be. I mean, it's not when you're baking at home, I really wouldn't worry about it too much unless the recipe really specifies, which really no recipe really does. The thing with eggs, as they sit, they tend to flatten out, to separate the proteins, become less dense. Okay, over time, and as that fact just proved, there's an air pocket in the egg. And what that does is protect it as it's moved around.
Right.
That air pocket will actually grow and get bigger, and the egg will actually shrink and get smaller.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's some recipes will say it's more advantageous to use older eggs, but at the end of the day, just use your eggs as you buy them.
6 to 1 half dozen.
Try to use them as soon as possible. To me, fresh is always better.
Yeah.
I mean,
now one thing I have noticed in buying eggs from a supermarket, that the different brand of eggs actually taste different. And there's Saturday mornings, not today, but there's Saturday and Sunday mornings that we have done. My wife and I have eggs for breakfast, and she'll make the comment that it has no taste to it, and it's the yolk. It just tastes. There's nothing there.
Well, it depends on the feed that the chicken
right,
is,
and that's what I was going to get to.
And so it depends. Yeah, different brands would, depending on what they feed the chickens. But something I found very interesting, and I was last night when I was doing my research, I was up late doing extra research, especially on eggs, because they're such a complicated item, and they're such a unique, marvelous food to marvel at, really. Did you know? And I read this. Now I thought I might have been going nuts because it was late, and that's when I started to pack it in. But I read that obviously white eggs and brown eggs really aren't different.
It's just the color of the shell.
Chickens have earlobes. I read that. I read that the white eggs come from white chickens with white earlobes, and the brown eggs come from red chicken with red earlobes. I did not know that. I don't know if it's true still. I thought I was going nuts.
Were someone complaining to get their ears pierced or what?
I have no idea. I promise you I read that, and that's when I said, okay, something's going on here. I need to pack it up and get some sleep. We got a big day tomorrow.
I wonder if they have any eggs here at the farmers market today.
They may. I didn't get a chance to walk through the entire thing.
I'm looking at some of the produce with the lettuce and everything that looks really nice.
One more egg fact I want to bring up. The most expensive egg ever sold was the Fabergé winter egg, sold in 1994 for $5.6 million.
That was jewelry, though. That doesn't count.
It's still an egg.
I guess.
I mean, you're not going to eat that egg, but it's still an egg.
My favorite egg? You didn't ask me that one.
What is your favorite egg?
The Reese's peanut butter egg.
Those are good. What about your favorite way to have eggs? If you go out and get breakfast, how do you get your eggs cooked?
It depends on the mood. I love a good fried egg over easy. I mean, really good. I loved it the way my grandmother used to make it in the cast iron skillet. She made it with the bacon first, and then she made the eggs and the bacon dripping.
Mm-hmm.
That was the way to do it. That's the way I like it. But I can go for a good scrambled egg every once in a while, too. So it all depends on the mood.
I had scrambled eggs for dinner last night. I did. I mean,
breakfast for dinner.
Oh, I love breakfast. Breakfast is probably my favorite.
That is
my favorite meal. I like sunny side up eggs, believe it or not. I like the runny yolk. I really like it. I like them on burgers. I like them.
I had that one of the most recent times that I've went out. I had the egg on the burger, and it was really good.
Well, my favorite eggs, I'll have to say, is my great-grandmother used to make these, and then my grandmother made them. Now I started making them. They would take the leftover sauce that was in the fridge from pasta, and they would heat the sauce up on the stove, and then they would fry eggs in the sauce.
Oh, that's a clever idea.
And it's fantastic. And what I usually do when I make it is I'll toast my bread, and I'll put some either garlic salt on it after I butter it or rub it with a clove of garlic. So I kind of have garlic bread and my eggs in the sauce.
Now, the one thing that I saw, and this was in the movie Moonstruck, and I don't know if you're old enough to remember the movie with Cher and Nicolas Cage. Olympia Dukakis, anyway. They're making eggs. And what they do is they take the bread, and they hollow out the center of the bread, and then they crack the egg in it, let the bread get brown on one side, then flip it and do it again.
Eggs in a basket.
I love that. But the best way to do it, and I'm still trying to get them on the show, is having Mancini's bread. That is the best bread to do that with. The best Italian bread to do that with.
Yep, I've had those before. Those are good.
They're good.
Poached eggs on toast, I love
poached eggs. Eggs Benedict is also one of my favorites. I don't get that very often.
That's my sister's favorite, especially when they travel and she's in a hotel room. She loves the room service Eggs Benedict. For whatever reason. She doesn't have a very sophisticated palate, but I guess it's the hollandaise sauce, so who doesn't love hollandaise? It's just straight butter.
Or it could be dealing with her book choosings, anyhow.
Anyway,
that's a reference to an old show. Anyhow.
Yes, very, very old show. That's actually the podcast days there, but anyway, on the 4th, we have, this is a trifecta day, which means we have three holidays. National Cheese Day, National Froyo, or Frozen Yogurt Day, and National Cognac Day. So that's quite a wide variety. You can have some cognac and cheese, wash it down with some frozen yogurt. You're just giving me a look. That is a terrible idea.
But the cheese I like, the yogurt I like, the cognac. And speaking of frozen yogurt,
do tell.
I got to talk about a new frozen yogurt place, but I can't do it. Actually, I can do it right now before break. We got a little bit of time. Sweet Frog opened in Uniontown, and it opened at the Walnut Hill Plaza. No, they're not sponsoring the show or anything. Yep. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. The only thing was missing, and my wife posted this on Facebook, was looking at the Atlantic Ocean behind us, because the one we go to in the Outer Banks is within walking distance of the beach. But other than that, the yogurt was great, the toppings were fantastic, and the service was really good. I would highly recommend anybody going to Sweet Frog for that. Now, you know what? FROG is an acronym. Do you know what it stands for?
I don't, actually.
Fully Rely on God. It is a Christian-based business, and it is really, really a nice place. It was nice to finally have one open up in Uniontown. You know, Uniontown's making it big when you got a Sweet Frog.
I see that. Yeah. Yes, and the Olive Garden came
that's
in.
Right.
Sweet Frog came in. I don't know. Walmart's here. What's next?
I don't know. I mean, but it's really nice to have one here, because we used to have a TCBY.
Right.
And unfortunately, they left. I don't know where they went, but they left. But now with the Sweet Frog, it's filling that yogurt void.
They have TCBYs in some of the subways.
Oh, yeah,
the one in Charleroi, the subway has a TCBY.
You know what? I forgot about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you're out that way, instead of stopping at Subway, make that left at Subway and go up the hill, because right up the hill, a block up the hill, is 4th Street Barbecue.
Yes, it is.
So you can grab your barbecue instead of your sub, and then once you're done there, if you want dessert, you can hit the TCBY on the way down.
Yeah. That's after talking to your dad after he looks at your back, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So you can turn a day. You can have a full day here,
and you can read the Herald Standard in their waiting room while you're waiting.
Just don't read it while you drive. That
would
be dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can read it in the waiting room. Get adjusted. All your bases are covered. I'm telling you.
You just segued us to a break, so let's take our break right now.
Okay. Don't touch that radio dial. We will be right back here with more Just Cook It Radio. And we're being served up to you today by the Big Barn Country Store and Deli, which you can stop at on your way down 51 to Pareca Chiropractic Center, we are also sponsored by Pareca Chiropractic Center, Inc., 4th Street Barbecue, and the Herald Standard.
And we also like thank our friends at Phil Gianetti Motors for our sponsorship on TV. And you're watching us on Fayette TV, Channel 77, and streaming online at FayetteTV.org. And we're right here every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. here on your local station, 590 Radio, WMBS.
Phil Gianetti Motors at 656 National Pike East in Brownsville is a proud sponsor of programming on FCTV. Phil Gianetti Motors providing quality vehicles for 45 years. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, give Phil Gianetti's a call at 724-785-6800 or stop by their website, philgianettimotors.com.
Hey, we're back.
Good to be back. We are live here at Farmers Market at Gazebo Park.
Which is better than the alternative, I guess.
Yes, they're much better. And you're listening to Just Cook It Radio right here on your local station, 590 Radio WMBS. You can give us a call at 855-590-0590 or locally at 724-812-0590.
Hey, I hear the prize wheel going over here for our friends at WMBS. Nick Kraft is here, and also Mike Sackley. And they'll be broadcasting. I guess you're going to stay here a little bit longer, too, up until noon today.
I can if they invite me to.
Well, I've invited you, but I got to bail out because I got soccer today in Roscoe. So if you look at someone on the sidelines looking desperately famous, that's me. I guess I could say I've ventured into all things now that I have my own sports team.
That's right. Yeah. You're a real entrepreneur.
I'm trying to convince the league to let me put Just Cook It logo on the back of their jersey
we should
instead of their numbers, but they're not liking that idea.
Sponsor the team.
Yeah, that's an idea.
That's a brilliant idea. Let's write that one down.
That's on the list.
Anyway, so we're going to move on. We got 3 food holidays left to get through really quickly.
Okay.
On the 5th, we have National Gingerbread Day. Why it's this time of year?
Thank you.
You've got me.
Thank you. And also, on the 5th,
Yes.
is my son Andrew's 9th birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Andrew, in advance.
Yes.
Since we won't be on the air again until the 8th.
That's right.
So that's, what did you say was 9th?
9th.
Wow.
I know. I'm getting old very quick.
Growing up fast. Where's the time go?
Hey, where's the last 6 months gone?
Are you going to get him a gingerbread cake?
No. No.
At least get a cookie. I mean, it's gingerbread day.
Yeah.
So, let's see, gingerbread. What can I tell you about gingerbread? Now,
does that count gingerbread, the one you put with the dollop of whipped cream on top, and also the gingerbread cookie?
Yes,
cookie?
it actually is both, and there's actually gingerbread biscuits as well.
Oh, I've never had one of those. That sounds good.
Yeah, so gingerbread is a big thing. It's a sweet, obviously a sweet, I guess you would say cake or pastry or cookie confection, flavored with ginger, and it uses typically honey or molasses rather than just sugar.
Mm-hmm.
It says gingerbread foods vary, ranging from, this is what you were talking about, a soft, moist loaf cake to something close to a ginger biscuit or a cookie.
Yeah.
And so there you have it. I mean, we're all familiar with gingerbread, so...
Right. I love gingerbread.
To me, it's more of a holiday food. It's more of a Christmas.
But the thing is it's something that you could have at any time. It's as a novelty or a treat or something that's not expected.
I love gingerbread. I love ginger ale. So, I mean, all things ginger. And if you read my article in the Herald Standard yesterday, my column...
Did you talk about ginger ale yesterday?
No. But we did the strawberries we stuffed with ginger-infused cantaloupe.
Oh, that's right, you did. That's right.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
And that cocktail was really good, too.
Yeah.
So, and
I wouldn't know. I didn't have any. You don't bring me any samples.
Well, I think it's a little early for cocktails, unless you want to go over...
There's a winery across the way here. Why do you mean it's a little early?
Well, wine's different. Wine's like grape juice. That's like morning. That's how I justify it. That's right. You have to be very methodical.
I forgot you're Italian. Anyhow.
You have to be very methodical. How could you forget?
I forgot you were Italian. Anyhow.
So anyway, on the 6th, we have we have National Applesauce Cake Day.
Now, what is an applesauce cake? Because when you said that, something popped into my head. Now I don't know if it's the same thing or not.
An applesauce cake is a cake made with raisins, walnuts, and spices such as cinnamon, cloves, or nutmeg, and applesauce. So some recipes add a square of baking chocolate. The casual cake makes a good snack.
Okay.
Snack cake unfrosted, or it's sometimes dressed with the brown sugar frosting.
Okay.
But
I have had it.
You can use applesauce in other baking ways as well. I know people who use applesauce to substitute for oil in, like, cookies.
I think that's probably what I'm thinking about.
Now,
I've seen that.
Here's my thing with that. If you like it, great.
Yeah.
But for me, if I'm eating a cookie, I've already given up the fact that I'm eating something that's dessert-like that's going to be, not as good for me. So I'm going to eat them in moderation, but I'm going to really enjoy them.
Okay.
So that's my philosophy on that. Another thing we used to do, and this has nothing to do with applesauce cake, but it made me think of this. I learned from when I was in the kitchen from speaking to pastry chefs a way that they make their chocolate cakes and their homemade cakes really, really moist. Because at the Duquesne Club, they made all their cakes from scratch. And that's few and far between nowadays because boxed cake mixes that a lot of bakeries use give you a much more consistent product that's much easier to make.
Right.
So we still, at the Duquesne Club when I was there, and I'm still to this day, I know they do, they still make all their cakes from scratch.
Right.
And the way that they would get them so moist is they had a ratio where they would substitute the oil in the eggs for mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is essentially oil and eggs. And they would use that in the cake. I mean, they would still put some oil, some eggs, but they would substitute a large portion of that for mayonnaise, and that would keep it moister.
I'm sorry.
That's the way the mayonnaise is. And, another thing you can do, too.
I'm not eating cake at the Duquesne Club. That just doesn't sound
They're actually really, really good. Even in brownies, you can use mayonnaise.
Yeah, just don't tell me.
And the thing of it is, too, I've seen people put mayonnaise folded into their ground meat with their hamburgers.
I've seen that done, too.
And, I have some fish recipes that I'll use mayonnaise as a marinade.
Yeah.
You'll season it up and things. So, because mayonnaise is essentially oil and eggs, and it's just emulsified.
Heck, Julia Child did a omelet that had a mayonnaise in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. I've made it. That's why.
Okay. And that goes back almost to the 3rd, which is National Egg Day that we talked about, because that's the mayonnaise. Everything just fits. It's like a puzzle.
And also on the 6th is my niece's birthday.
Man, there's birthdays all over the place.
Hey,
is this the time of year for birthdays?
June and July is birthday month in my family.
Birthday month?
Birthday months. We have the 5th, the 6th, the 16th, and then we get the 14th. We go mine, and then all that other fun
Birthday
stuff.
month.
Birthday month.
Now, is it months or months?
I have no idea.
Okay, anyway. On the 7th, and the final food holiday we'll wrap up with this week is National Chocolate Ice Cream Day.
That's
which
a good
is one of my favorite.
That's a good one.
And, I'm glad they specified. I was doing my research on chocolate ice cream, and they specified that chocolate ice cream gets its brown color from the cocoa powder.
Where else would it get its brown color from?
They had it in the article, and it made me kind of laugh. I said the same thing when I read it, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me. But
and it is the second most common flavor after vanilla.
Vanilla, yes. Do you prefer chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Vanilla?
And the reason I prefer vanilla is because I can put stuff on vanilla and taste the stuff, like chocolate syrup and stuff like that. But when you do it, you're doing a double chocolate and it's just a little bit too much for me. I love chocolate, don't get me wrong.
One of my favorite ice cream is the White House cherry. That's vanilla with the maraschino cherries in it. But one of my favorite treats, and for whatever reason, it has to be at PNC Park.
Okay.
And I always call it the Twisty Cone.
Yeah, we talked about that.
The chocolate and vanilla swirl, soft serve. Whatever reason, I don't know, but at PNC Park, they just taste better to me.
Yep. And the other place has a great chocolate ice cream. They have an excellent vanilla ice cream. Is Jackson Farm.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, if you, on 40, stop by their dairy convenience store, you can stop and get some. And also, to let you know, they will probably be at the 4th of July celebration in Uniontown. So,
excellent. We'll have to
check that out.
I hope they bring some chocolate ice cream.
They do. That ice cream, especially if it's hot, forget about getting anything. If you're not there in the first so many hours, it's gone. It's wiped out. I mean, they go through that much.
Wow.
But I love Jackson Farm's ice cream.
Have you ever had ice cream cookies?
Wouldn't they be all
talked about this. No, my grandmother had, and she's going to probably be mad at me for mentioning this, but she has a recipe stashed in her. I don't have the recipe yet. But she has, and I have to go back. Is it going to
be left for you? Or
No, I just have to go get it, write it down. But she has a recipe stashed in her.
Do we need to lure Grandma out of the house and go in and sneak in and get it?
I think so. She has her in her recipe cabinet, which is like her most prized possession, which I can understand why.
Right.
That's where I get it from, I guess. She has a recipe. I was reading through some of her recipes. Ice cream cookies. So you take ice cream, and it makes sense. You let it soften, and then you fold in all your other ingredients, and then you bake them. And they're ice cream cookies. But ice cream is essentially milk, eggs, flour. So it makes sense. And I heard a lot of people that I've spoken to, the first time I've ever seen it, I've never had them.
Right.
And I bring it up, and they go, "Oh, yeah, I love those. They're great."
Never had them before.
How come I'm the only one?
Yep.
And I've been in the kitchen my whole life.
Yeah, you need to find that recipe.
Yes. So, do we have time for a couple food news articles?
We have time for one, possibly two.
All right, I'll let you pick which one you want to start off with.
I want to do the cups of froyo.
There you go.
Well, we're talking about ice cream. We're talking about frozen yogurt. We're talking about all this other stuff.
So here we go. Frozen yogurt.
And there's a place, and it's a bit risque for a Saturday morning, but what the heck?
I like it. Let's push the envelope a bit. There's a place called Cups. C-U-P-S.
I know where we're
frozen
going.
Yogurt.
I know where we're going.
And it is the Hooters of frozen yogurt. So, and I thought this blew my mind. So let's talk about, we talked about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Remember opening his, what they term them, the term is restaurant.
Right.
It's these restaurants, and the Tilted Kilt is one in Pittsburgh.
And Hooters
is another. It's these restaurants where the waitresses are scantily clad.
Right.
And they serve the food.
Right.
By the way, I go to Hooters for the wings. I don't do it. But
anyway.
So now there's a frozen yogurt place taking this concept, and it's called Cups Frozen.
Where can you tell me where it's at? That may justify why they're doing it.
They have locations in New Jersey and New York.
Yeah, that makes
sense. And it says it's apparently successful enough to be recruiting new employees.
Okay.
So, I mean, I just thought, it says it's more of a club-like experience with an edgy vibe.
Yeah, one of our edginess has drawn crowds and celebrities such as the Jonas Brothers and the stars of TV reality show Jerseylicious. I've never heard of Jerseylicious.
It's about a hair salon in New Jersey.
Oh, I have seen that.
Yes. I love that show.
I have seen that, yeah.
But I just thought this was so interesting, and who would have thought that they would take this concept to frozen yogurt?
Okay.
Like you wouldn't eat there, please.
Yeah, anyhow.
I hear the yogurt's fantastic.
You know what? No one's going for the yogurt, and their logo is quite suggestive. Anyhow.
Yeah, so
you need to post that on the website.
I will.
Yeah, put a link to that one on the website.
We'll link that up. And
one more.
Let's talk about Wendy's a little bit.
Hey, I like Wendy's.
Wendy's is rolling out a new concoction, a new sandwich. Wendy's is releasing a pretzel burger in 2013.
I take it the buns, the pretzel.
The bun is made from pretzel bread.
I can
now,
see that.
This is where this is interesting. We've talked about McDonald's, how they got rid of the Angus Deluxe.
Yeah, and if you notice, all the new marketing is the new quarter pounder.
Yes, now because they said the Angus Deluxe was too expensive for the markets, so they wanted to put a more cost-effective way. Now, Wendy's, what they're doing is they're starting to make these sandwiches with more expensive bread, such as their flatbread, such as their pretzel bread,
the artisan bread,
to increase the price and give them a higher value, it gives a higher profit margin.
So in other words, what they're going to start competing with is with the Red Robin, the Steak and Shakes, and the Five Guys and these other places.
Their idea is there's higher profit margin in the restaurant business with bread than there is with meat. So instead of putting extra meat on their burgers, they're going to give you better bread with what they already have.
Sometimes that makes a difference.
And it's not going to be ridiculously expensive.
Everything blows away.
It's not going to be ridiculously expensive, but it's going to be a little more than the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger that we've all come to know and love.
The 99-cent Junior Bacon Cheeseburger.
Yeah, so look for the Wendy's Pretzel Burger, and I think it's really interesting. We used to have great pretzel bread that the bakery at the Duquesne Club used to make, and we used to make all kinds of sandwiches on that stuff. It was really, really good.
I know that one of the kiosks in the mall, they do a pretzel hot dog. It basically it's a hot dog rolled in a pretzel bread, and it's really good too. I haven't had one in a long time, especially with cheese on it, but it's really good.
Do you put mustard?
Oh, it depends. It depends on the mood. But again, I had it with their cheese dipping sauce, and it was really good. This is 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I love pretzel bread, especially with turkey, like a turkey sandwich with lettuce and bacon. Oh.
Okay, this is my question. I don't know this. Can you buy pretzel bread in a grocery store? Or you have to go to a bakery.
I have seen it. It's not always there, but I have seen it at certain stores, at the higher end stores. I mean, even locally, the one on 51.
Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah, okay. You can. They sometimes have it, so you can check there. But yeah, you have to look in the not in the section with all the where the Wonder Bread used to be. Yeah. It won't be there. It would be like in the bakery.
Bakery item.
Yeah.
Well, I got news for you. We've been through an hour already, and it's time to wrap everything up.
Time flies when you're having fun. So I want to thank you for listening to the first episode of Just Cook It Radio.
Our 6-month anniversary here on WMBS.
Our 6-month happy anniversary, Bill.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, thank you. And so I just want to mention, make sure you give us a call. You can call us all throughout the week at 855-590-0590 or locally at 724-812-0590. Jump on the text line by texting the word COOKIT, COOKIT, to 411-247. And once you're on that list, you'll get a recipe every month. You'll get one right away, and then you'll get one every month after that sent straight to your phone. You can get it on your phone or your computer where you can print it out. Look us up on the web at justcookitradio.com. You'll get all our social media, our blog, and everything. And also what you can look at is at the website, don't forget about the Just Dishin' podcast.
That's right.
We have a premium podcast with premium content, the content you can't find anywhere else.
And we do it at any time. It doesn't have to be Saturday immediately after the show. We do it at any time now.
Right, because we're risque like that now. And another thing we forgot to mention, one thing I definitely want to mention, make sure you tune in next week at 9 a.m. We have a very special guest, Bess Rogers, the artist who composed and sang the one and only Cheerios theme song that you hear on all the Cheerios commercials nowadays, will be our special guest over the phone. So we'll get to pick her brain about songwriting, about Cheerios, about jingle writing. So it should be a lot of fun. That's one of those songs that gets stuck in my head from time to time. Not from time to time. Every time I hear it, it gets stuck in my head. So I'm very, very excited. I know Bill is too, to have her on the show and talk jingles with her.
Hey, and one other thing we have to mention too, that this program, you can watch it on TV following the Herald Standard Home Show. The new episode comes on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. The rerun is Sunday at noon. We follow immediately after on Channel 77.
Yes, that's
on Stay TV.
The Just Living Hour.
That's right.
So you get to see the home show, and then you get into the food and cooking, and
I got news. It's time to say goodbye.
Time to say goodbye, right. Well, thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in next week at 9 a.m. on WMBS. Check us out at justcookitradio.com for the Just Dishin' podcast.
That's it. We'll talk to you next week here on your local station, 590 Radio, WMBS.
You have been listening to Just Cook It Radio with Mario Pareca and Bill Alexander. For more information on this program and how to download it as a podcast, go to justcookitradio.com. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please call us at 1-855-590-0590.
This has been a $1 Million Baby production.